welcome back, everyone. Well, customer centricity means putting the customer first and at the center of everything that you do. You might think to yourself, that's easy, I can do that. But is it really that simple? Being customer-centric entails more than just saying that the customer is on the top of your mind. It's truly about understanding the customer so that you can anticipate their wants, their needs, and communication preferences, creating meaningful experiences for them and building lasting relationships with them. And that is definitely easier said than done. So let's dive deeper into it, shall we? We have another panel of awesome marketing leaders, some of the best in the business, to talk about transitioning to customer centricity with marketing automation. And to moderate this panel, please allow me to call upon this virtual stage our in-house marketing automation star, Ruchi Lapran, Senior Manager, Marketing Automation at Grazidi. With over a decade of experience in the marketing automation space, Ruchi has a proven track record in bringing solutions that help brands accelerate growth. A 3-time Marketo, HubSpot email, inbound marketing, and contextual marketing certified expert, she is passionate about finding unique applications for MarTech that move businesses towards success. Currently, she manages a team of automation aces where she's responsible for creating robust strategies, simplifying complicated solutions, and mentoring her team. So here's Ruchi with our next panel discussion, transitioning to customer centricity with marketing automation. Over to you, Ruchi. Voila, she's here. Can we see you, Ruchi?
Yes.
Hi.
Thank you so much, Agatha, for the introduction. And I welcome everybody today. So in today's customer-first world, customer-centricity can be your edge to rise above the competition. While the concept of customer-centricity is not new, it surely is the golden key to unlocking superior customer experiences. And in this era of rising marketing channels and buyers taking control of their journey, marketers that keep customers at the front and center of these efforts by using technology are sure to create high-value customers. And that's where marketing automation can help to make your team's lives easier and your customer experiences better. So now it's no longer a good-to-have technology or just a handy tool for marketing automation and tracking visitors. So it has now become a must-have technology instead for the brands and is at the heart of the digital marketing effort of a business and how they leverage it. It can actually make or break their customer experience. However, as customers and trends change constantly, many organizations struggle to use marketing automation tools to add value to every customer interaction. Today, we are going to decode the true meaning of customer centricity in marketing, how marketing automation is the driver for superior customer experience, and how you can ensure successful customer-centric transformation. We'll dive right into this and more with our amazing panelists from the marketing tech space. Allow me to introduce them all. Our first panelist, Jignesh Shah, is the head of integrated incentives at Ribbon, which is a Blackhawk network business. He's a marketing maestro who has been building and marketing products for over 20 years from startups to enterprises. Thank you for joining us today, Jignesh.
Hey, Ruchi. Thank you for having me and really excited to be here, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. And also we have with us Corey Bayless, Marketing Automation Program Manager from Amazon Web Services. Corey is a 9-year vet, 3-time Marketo champion, cloud practitioner, and 3-time certified in Marketo certification. He's passionate about driving success at a global scale, and he utilizes an entire suite of technologies to help automate and stay with the speed of business. He's a thought leader, innovator, and most importantly, a builder. Glad to have you here, Corey.
Happy to be here.
And finally, with us, we have Balkar Singh, our in-house marketing automation expert, who is 4-time certified Adobe Marketo Engage practitioner. He's having over 8 years of rich experience, and he's well versed in translating complex business challenges into innovative solutions. He manages marketing operations and executing marketing campaigns with finesse.
Thanks, Ruchi. Glad to be here. I'm excited.
Excited as well. So, without further ado, let's dive right into transitioning to customer centricity with marketing automation. So our first topic of discussion today would be the rising importance of customer centricity. So as we all know that today, customers are no longer just a number or a name, and instead they are much powered users who have a voice in the company's direction. To compete and get an edge in today's global economy, customer centricity is the only way. The customer-centric strategy is one of the raging topics in marketing today, but the question is, do all marketers really understand it well? So, Jignesh, my question to you would be, what exactly does customer-centricity in marketing mean to you?
Sure. So maybe allow me to zoom out a little bit, right? And I think it's important to first recognize that customer centricity can and should go beyond just the marketing team. At many successful companies, customer centricity is a business approach, and some would even argue it's really a business culture that prioritizes customer needs in all decision making. From which products and features a company builds to how they sell those products, how they market those products, and how they support their customers. Customer centricity can and should cut across all of these decisions and functions and disciplines. But if we zoom into marketing and we start with that principle that customer centricity means prioritizing customer needs, and it has some critical implications for the marketing team specifically. For me, the most important implication of customer centricity in marketing is requiring and driving marketing to develop what I call deep and genuine customer empathy. What does it mean? Customer-centric marketers, in my experience, truly know and understand their customers. They understand their customers' needs and pain points. They know their customers' priorities. They know where their customers get their information and how they consume their information. Customer-centric marketers are great at really knowing how the customers search for products similar to the ones they sell and how the customers go about making decisions, right? That is, to me, what is customer-centric marketing, is developing that deep and genuine customer empathy and then using that knowledge to fundamentally shape and drive marketing programs and tactics and technology.
Yes, absolutely right. So it's all about, truly understanding your customers so you can anticipate their wants, their needs, and their communication preferences. So, Balkar, what do you think? What should brands know when we talk about executing a customer-centric marketing strategy?
Well, I think I'll draw from the lines from Jignesh, and very well put that we need to have that customer empathy in our mindset. And when we, drop down to something tangible within platforms, I think at that level, architects become pretty relevant. And because you need to know all the data which is around, and where is that data and how is that mapped across systems, because that's how you are ultimately able to report and generate insights and feed marketers the ideas which they need to ultimately generate that empathy. I think it's a balance of the art of understanding the empathy and the tactics of understanding how tactically the data moves across systems and how the enterprise architects manage that enterprise across that level.
Right. So customer-centric marketing requires acting with purpose and technology.
Yeah.
So Corey, according to you, what role does marketing automation play in improving customer experience?
Yeah. So you guys can hear me?
Yes.
Just want to make sure. Okay. So it's really interesting. I love the transition into this because Bakar, Jignesh, I totally agreed with the high level 10,000 foot level view of it, but I could tell that just in that conversation alone, it's the power players inside your marketing automation tech stack that make it all function and work together so that you can learn your data. So what do I mean by that? It's like, I have to listen to my customer. And how do I do that? Well, it's through data collection and attribution, right? Market automation allows for me to store that data and then classify that data. And that is the key. The key is having a strategy. How do you reach your customer? How do you reach them in social? How do you reach them in ad driven? What are the problems that you're solving for your customer? Why are they interested in your product? What does your product bring to the table that other products don't bring to the table? What is the problem we're solving? Are these systems all talking to each other to create that narrative of engagement, right? In short, have I automated my data delivery in a centralized place that is also standardized so that my BI can latch in to all the various components they need to on a program scale, on your Redshift, every type of cloud distribution model that you can think of? You need to have your data standardized. So a market automation system makes all that possible. That's why they're so great, right? So if you do it right, it's everything. You cannot process a data lake efficiently without market automation. It simplifies, it creates a code-free experience for the people that are using the system that I am the admin to. So what does that mean? Okay, well, if I create a code-free experience, now all of a sudden my company is able to produce any type of marketing content in fractions of a second, and I take a week to deploy a campaign and I move it down into a couple of days. Think of how agile that can make an enterprise, right? It's very inexpensive and it's on a global scale. That means I can curate any experience using these tools. We can create a completely orchestrated digital roadmap for the customer. The results are better business intelligence. Hopefully, also in the process, I'm delivering on an amazing customer experience because I'm listening to my customer. And then my job as an admin in the system, who's been in the trenches of market automation, can tell you it is my job to speak a narrative for how people interact with my program at every touch point. Just like Alok said, it's every single touch point. I have to know how my data moves through my system, right? And automation, and when you bring all those things together, the more automation and stability that you can provide the platform results in significantly less churn and getting so much more done. And everyone wins when that happens. If I automate my throughput into the systems that matter and give me the right business intelligence, I'm doing my job, right? So that's what
absolutely, yeah. So data is the key, and also it's very important to make your system talk to each other. They should be in sync. And shifting a gear slightly here, because we are moving towards the next topic, which is based on the marketing automation strategy here. So my question to you, Corey, today marketing has become very challenging, and most of the marketers, they're infusing customers' point of view in their business decisions in an uphill battle. So surely we all want to focus on the customer, but most are not nearly as close as they should be. And it leaves a lot of room for improvement for our marketers as customer demands continue to evolve. So the big question here is, how can a brand truly become customer-centric with marketing automation, and what's your take on it?
Yeah, so I don't want to say that it's simple because it's not, but in the plainest words I can completely use, honor the customer preference of communication. Start first and foremost. Why is that important? Because the way that your brand builds around itself is that you provide an element of consistency to how you communicate with your customers. And then give them a choice of how they want to be talked to. Only show your best side. Don't show code breaks in emails. Test everything. Orchestrate training, webinar, white papers, and other marketing materials that help tell the business narrative of the customer's problem you're trying to solve, right? Providing an authentic, consistent experience through the web means demand gen materials is the next step. Is an email broken? Does it work across different email channels? When I go to the web page, is it responsive? Does it look good? Would you consider yourself giving your data to learn more about the topic on display? Don't auto-populate email form pop-ups. Oh my God, just stop doing that, everyone. Like, that doesn't work. I'm not going to give you my email. Right. So back to that, like, listen to so that orchestration right up front where data all has to come into a centralized view is so critical, because if you don't automate that data flow, you can't track activity. And when you can't track activity, that means you can't trigger off of different types of things in the system that help me push data into all their various cohorts and segmentations, right? So if you listen to the data and you understand how the data talks, then that means you can expand the data out into learning new things about your customer. But if you provide a good positive experience about trying to learn about your customer, and you're truly trying to teach them something that will help them in their daily base, that is how you will create a digital realm that a customer can go to feel good about the information that they need to get, retrieve it quickly, right? And then the downstream change is they're going to continue to come back to you.
Yes, absolutely. So, Jignesh, how do you suggest businesses should shape their existing marketing automation strategy to be more customer-centric?
Hey, first of all, I gotta say, I love, Corey, your passion, man. It just comes through your soul loud and clear. I love it. But that's kind of part of the fun of being in marketing. Like, people have a lot of passion about marketing, about what they do and their craft. I would just go a little bit broader and say, like, one of the ways at a tactical level, customer centricity will help marketers is drive a lot of those decisions, drive a lot of those, decisions we make around what the experience should be, with how we should honor communication preferences, how we should optimize this part of the experience versus that part of the experience. Mm-hmm. At a tactical level, I run marketing teams in the past, and I run marketing teams now. What I find is you can use customer centricity as a framework to drive your priorities. And here's how you can translate it down to the tactical day-to-day level, right? The number one advice I give to especially B2B marketers, this is very, by the way, standard in the B2C world. But B2B marketers often have a sales process orientation, right? They live and die by the sales funnel. And the sales funnel is important, and we should not abandon it. But if you really want to be customer-centric, put the sales funnel aside for a second and think about the customer journey. Look at the experience from your buyer's perspective, right? Just the basics. Do you have very clear ideal customer profiles? Do you understand buyer personas? Do you then take those buyer personas and map them out into customer journey? How do your customers, trigger the need for your product? How do they search? How do they make decisions? Build formal, well-defined customer journeys, and then look at your marketing tactics, your marketing automation, your programs through those lenses. And what you'll find amazingly is a whole new set of opportunities and optimization, opportunities that now you can prioritize, right? So that's often the advice I give for teams that are just starting out on this idea of customer centricity is put the sales funnel aside. It's important. Don't abandon it. But look at your world to the view of the buyer, right? What is the customer journey? What are their preferences? In the ideal world, if you do this really well, your customer journeys will map to your sales funnel. They will dovetail. They will not be independent. They will not be conflicting. They will dovetail. But the customer journey perspective will give you a much broader perspective on how you shape your marketing automation, your customer experience.
Yeah. So now that we know how to start off, how to adapt your marketing automation strategy, and the next area we have to focus on is ensuring the successful digital transformation of your businesses. So Balkar, you manage marketing operations for multiple clients, and according to you, what are the key elements that you keep in your mind whenever you're implementing marketing automation to digitally transform your client's business?
I think two of them, we already spoke of, as Corey mentioned, that classification of that data, cleaning of that data, so that data is usable. And as rightly Jignesh pointed out, that the mapping of customer journey, which happens naturally. So we don't understand funnel as some linear predefined journey, but we translate a journey into something which can be mapped. So the idea is really to focus on some seamless customer experience. Obviously, we can call it digital journey as well. And to do that, I think one big thing which is clearly relevant right now is personalization at scale. In the other session, like David mentioned, there are a lot of tools right now when we can use personalization, but how to do it right, how to segment that, as Jignesh pointed out, are you having the personas to do that? And if we do it right, I think personalization at scale helps to increase the quality of your customer experience. And on top of that, there's content, right? You need to combine the content analytics. So you can basically measure your content performance and then ultimately improve. It opens up a lot of window of experimentation, and you can experiment faster, you can improve faster, and the right set of tools are also important. Which tool are you using, and is that tool going to support your vision? Does it have everything that you want to do? And ultimately, beyond all these factors, you need people and processes. If we remove people and processes, all of this just fades away. So that is something which is, of pretty fundamental importance, because right now with the plethora of the tools and technologies available, it's important to indulge talent into all this so that we can make sense of this universe. And so those would be like 4 or 5 key elements to proceed. And an underlying theme would be nurturing. I know this sounds cliche, but this is something which is a pretty solid strategy for almost all customers. If you nurture your audience with a right way of personalization, I think you make a great progress towards hitting that funnel naturally.
Yes. So that makes it more vital, like proactively listening to your customers' need and understanding what is making them unique, right? So that was one insightful session, and moving towards the next topic, which is how to measure success of customer centricity. So now that we have decoded what customer-centric marketing means and how brands can get on the customer centricity bandwagon with marketing automation, so now let's touch base on how do you actually measure the success of your customer-centric marketing effort. So Cody, what do you think?
Okay, so I will be less passionate because apparently I'm getting a lot of comments that my energy is too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I just like being. It's just fun. This is a really cool event, and the insights that we're learning right now actually is a 360-degree view of all the way down to the actual system itself, into an actual how do we metaphysically strategize around that and then transfer it into your automation stack and create all the various metrics that you need, right? So let's talk about that. So what do we have in marketing? Well, I don't measure opens because that's worthless. And you measure key KPIs. Your click-through rates are important. Every single program that you create, you want to have metadata inside of that program that allows for me to extract at an accurate, most and consistent rate, right? The more consistent that your data is, the easier it is to be able to say this team did X on this program or this event, and then downstream, and obviously your Power BIs, your Tableaus, however you want, extracting that data is actually so much easier to read because it's not this confusing big giant mess of hundreds of columns and things. You have the data that matters, right? And if all of your systems are saying your ad spend has increased here, your program spend has increased here, your event programs, your webinars, your white papers, all coming into a centralized platform that can handle all of those things, Marketo, then all of a sudden it makes attribution and downstream tracking so much easier, right? The key, and I've been on a quest to understand this, the key that I've seen is program attribution, like 100%. Program measurement and success and status. If you can get the system doing all the right things up front, it allows for that metadata to really sing to you downstream, especially with how you track your data. So what that means is that, and if I'm gonna break it down even a little bit more granular, let's just use a simple example, right? Oh, thank you for the hearts, I love it. Let's take a contact us form. Just as an example, right? So at an enterprise scale, what is my SLA for my sales team to actually be able to reach out to that customer without a chatbot? Chatbots are cheating, but that's why you use them, because they're cheating. That's like instant customers right in front of your face. You're right. Sell. Get your sales in front of customers who want to talk to you. That's customer obsession. It's Sorry, I'm getting more excited about it again. I'm sorry. But another thing that also will really help you is if you're using Marketo or you're using systems to create consistency in your program templates and your flow and how you build and that code-free experience, it allows for you to deploy things very quickly. And it also gives a immense power of, like, just yesterday as an example, we had an emergency come through. I had to move a bunch of assets from one instance to another instance. I couldn't import it. How do I do it? Well, because I had set that up, it allowed for me to do it in fractions of a second, actually deploy an entire event, right? It didn't take me 2 weeks to do it. It took me 10 minutes. Now, if you can deploy and clone me a whole bunch of times, right? It's like, how do you want to build and how do you want to do it? But when you're in the trenches and you can build quickly, that means I can map to all of the marketing workflows that I need. Okay, I'm done.
Thanks, Corey. And I'll ask Bulkar, now that we know which metrics to look into. So according to you, what could be the misleading metrics that you could advise your customers to steer clear of?
So from the email point of view, I think opens are becoming increasingly unreliable because of the way they are being tracked. So rightly, Corey, I do support that to not just focus on opens. And even clicks in sometimes, with the bots and whatnot. But email performance certainly, metadata for programs, and more tangible. There are brands who also focus on metrics which are pretty social marketing metrics like likes, comments, and whatnot that do indicate interest, but they're not as confident as the metrics which you would get on, let's say, campaign performance or program performance or lead velocity. Maybe how is the lead progressing through the funnel. Those conversion metrics, I think, are more tangible somehow, or those are more confident in nature versus the other ones. But yeah, I totally say that the open and the click is something which is, opens are definitely something which is getting unreliable day by day with the policies in place which are coming out. But yeah, I totally recommend going into the more tangible metrics on program or campaigns or lead funnel, which are actually the core of how you measure your customer centricity.
Yes, absolutely. And Jignesh, we have talked about measuring the results and key metrics to look into, but how do you turn this data and feedback into customer success engine?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things I love about marketing automation, and both Bulkar and Corey are spot on, is it has just done so much for marketers in terms of giving us visibility on a data basis in terms of what is happening, right? Just unprecedented amount of visibility into different processes, conversion rate, attributions, and so on. And some of these metrics are just vanity metrics. They're just an inch deep, if you will, but others are definitely more meaningful. What I recommend is, now, if you want to take these metrics, you also need to understand why these metrics are what they are, right? You have to dig a little bit deeper. And so what I recommend is take a lot of your customer engagement marketing performance metrics, but dig a little bit deeper by listening or talking directly to customers to understand why they are what they are, right? And here's sort of my 3 favorite tactics for kind of digging in deeper and then taking that data and making it actionable, right? One is simple things like, marketing can very well do things like customer feedback surveys and tracking NPS scores. You can get a lot of data directly from customers that tells you not just about the product, but the buying process, the customer support process. It can give you a much more holistic view into why your conversions at a certain point suck or don't suck, right? Look at product reviews. At Ribbon, for example, we put a lot of emphasis on making sure we drive product reviews. That's how we learn directly from our customers in terms of what they like, what they don't like. And my third favorite tactic, again, for B2B marketers, this has become so much easier in the last 2 or 3 years, is listen to your sales team's customer calls. And we all have access to tools like SalesLoft and Gong and Chorus and a bunch of others, right? It has never been easier to be right next to the salesperson, listening in on a live sales call with your customer telling you what their pain points are, what they like or don't like about their experience with your company.
Yes.
If you take a lot of this sort of real direct feedback from customers and then you marry it with the metrics you get out of marketing automation, now you have a powerful, actionable combination.
Absolutely. So customer perception is reality, and it becomes vital to make your customers part of your solution, and this would make your planning much easier in that way. Okay, wow, that was one rich and insightful discussion. And now that we are almost time, so we'll have to hide the Q&A segment. But do let your questions pouring in and we will get back to you. So that is bringing us to the end of this panel discussion. I'd like to thank our audience for their time, interest and attention today. And also to our panelists, such a insightful discussion and very well articulated. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Over to you, Kangsha.
Thank you, Ruchi. Thank you, Corey, Jignesh, Balkar, and Ruchi. I'm sure all Martech enthusiasts are going back wiser today. Marketing is definitely only part of the customer experience puzzle, but it does have a major role to play. So thank you for sharing the importance of moving from customer obsession to customer empathy and centricity, and for sharing some concrete ways to truly build a customer-centric company through marketing. And well, I'd like to remind everyone that our subject matter experts are available in the lounge area and the booth. So please feel free to catch up with them for more information about our services and products. And now let's go back to the lounge area and join the next keynote titled Harness the Value of Account-Based Marketing, Win Big with Small Teams. See you there. Thank you.